Good evening, everyone. I see the energy has sapped totally. We are at the end of the conference, and at least that's how I'm feeling. Okay. Good evening, everyone. Yay. Do you? So, are you ready for the last session of the Garden City Ruby Conference 2014? Yes! So let me start by this thing. This happened the day before the conference, and I haven't processed all the things that happened in the last 2 days, but I feel like this is the best thing from my perspective in this conference. First off, we have already fixed this problem. There are no longer one Ruby conferences in India. There are how many? 2 Ruby conferences in India now. But I was really kind of shocked when Chad said that. Yeah, in the US also it was like that, and in fact, the whole world it was like that. In fact, there was no Ruby conferences ever, and then somebody said, let's make one happen. So Chad and a few others joined together and did the first RubyConf in the US. And I was surprised to learn that it had only 31 participants, 2001, in Tampa. And now this year's RubyConf in Miami had around 500 participants. So it's grown over the last 12 years. So I find it heartening because we are at that stage where they were back in 2001, 2002. We can learn from them and get much ahead in the next couple of years. So this is what I have plans for this talk. I was not supposed to be here. My plan for this conference was to be spending all the time with my beautiful daughter and leave the team to take care of everything. And everything was going fine. In fact, last 2 months I haven't been on the mailing list as well. I let the team take care of everything, and I was just once in a while saying, hey, what's happening? But today, we lost one of our keynote speakers. And so that was a major crisis. I didn't want to leave it on the team. And so I came here, and I'm here and on stage giving this talk. With not much preparation, I thought it's maybe a good idea to just share about how we came to be here, how this whole Garden City Ruby thing happened. You guys interested in learning more about Garden City Ruby? Okay, let's begin from the very beginning. In the beginning, there was nothing. Let's see. Yes. In the beginning, there was nothing. Then on June 29th, 2013, I sent a mail to the Bangalore Ruby user group saying, hey, let's do a conference. This was a week after this year's RubyConf India in Pune, where I gave a talk about taking Indian Ruby community to the next level. There I talked about essentially what Satya talked about in his community lightning talk. We need more meetups, we need more conferences. Afterwards, I got a lot of good feedback. A lot of people came up to me and said, hey, you inspired us. We are going to do a meetup in Mumbai, we are going to do a meetup in Kochi or whatever. Nobody really talked about doing a conference. So I said, okay, you know what? Let me show it by example how it is done. And started this project. This mail got an amazing response. Around 15-20 people responded on the Bangalore Ruby user group saying, hey, we are interested, we want to help you. So thanks to the Bangalore Ruby user group for that kind of amazing response. Now the next, so that's when it started. And the very first thing I focused on was to get the keynote speakers. As somebody was pointing out to me earlier, if we have the one or two keynote speakers, well-known keynote speakers in the lineup, it becomes very easy to sell the conference to others. And the first person I approached to was Chad. And Chad enthusiastically said, yes, I'm coming to Bangalore. I want to be in Bangalore. And I was telling Chad yesterday, I attribute 80% of the success of this conference to him. Because of him being here, a lot of people decided to come here. We got a lot of sponsors to pay up. He says I'm wrong, but I believe at least, if not 80, 79%. We got the keynote speakers lined up. Now, the one other point I want to make here, we can't keep having Chad come here every time we want to have a conference. So we need more Indian Chad Fowlers. So we need more of the people sitting here to be up here a lot of times and make a name for themselves, so that when you go to another place or some city to give a talk, people pay to come and see you. So we'll get there in a couple of years. Who wants to take up that challenge? Nice to see a few hands go up. Now, the next thing I want to talk about is the trust, the organization behind this conference. So when I first started talking about this conference, my original idea was that we'll go with ITT. ITT is the entity which puts up RubyConf India. They have done a phenomenally good job of organizing 4 annual Ruby conferences in India. And you already heard from Ajay in the morning about the background of those conferences. Very soon in the process, I realized that may not work out for me, or at least what I was trying to accomplish. If we had gone with ITT, it would mostly have been, again, Ajay, Gautam, and a few others doing most of the work, or taking most of the key decisions. And there's it would just be another RubyConf India. I wanted a totally new team to come up, learn from scratch how to do all this, how to get sponsors, how to put up a program, how to do all the logistic stuff required for setting up a good conference. So I decided at the very beginning, okay, we are not going to go with ITT. We are going to start we'll have a new non-profit entity created. And so maybe it took us a while to get there, but 2 months later, I think we had our trust. So these are the 6 trust members. So among the organizing team, it's me and Tejas who are not on the trust for different reasons. Everyone else is on the trust, and the one I want to thank Satish at this point, because he did all the groundwork for finding out what's required to do set up a trust, and he has also followed up on the financials part of it. So big hand to Satish over here. So yeah, that's about the organization part. Then about the talk selection and talk proposals and selections. I want to share this interesting breakdown of all the talk proposals we got. We got 72 talk proposals. That's a good number given that we had only around a month's time for when the call for proposal was open. What do you make of this? Everybody wants to submit a talk at the last minute. This, actually, where's Lena? Come on up here. Can we get a mic for her? Oh, yeah. So Lena had the idea that we should actually train some of these people who give us a proposal, and then maybe we could interact with them, and then it will lead to much better proposals and much better talks in this conference. If this happens, if everybody submits at the last minute, we can't do much about that. So next time a conference is announced, please make sure you submit the talk right at the beginning. I want this to be reversed. I want more talk proposals coming at the beginning than at the end. I have a few questions for you. So I'll just show you a couple of other things. We got 67 proposals from men and 5 proposals from women. And of the 5 proposals from women, 3 were from the same person. And one was paired with a person, a guy. And the last one was we invited those 2 to submit a talk. That was Sakshi and Pallavi. We told you, we need you here talking, so you need to propose. So really, this was almost non-existent for the number of proposals by women. So
and that too, the 3 proposals was not from India. I mean,
again, the 3 proposals.
From Emily from MongoDB.
So the women folk in the room here, any thoughts of submitting proposals for the next conference? Okay, let's change this. We got a lot of proposals from different countries as well, but ultimately it ended up that none of them could come. We selected 2 of the speakers from this who are not from India, and both could not come for different reasons. So we ended up with fully Indian speaker lineup other than the invited keynote speakers. I was very happy to see this, the breakup from different cities. This shows that there is room for having meetups and conferences at each of these cities as well. You just need to start something there. Okay, this is fine. So Lena, how did we go about talk selection? What happened?
So, like Prakash mentioned, we wanted to have a lot of conversations with the submitters, but that didn't happen because of so many proposals came in the end. So we relied on the BusyConf rating system. So everyone in the organizing committee, they rated the talks, and we went with most of the time we went with the rating given by the overall rating given by BusyConf as rated by the organizers. And we had given some exceptions, like the Rails girls. We thought, okay, we want them to be talking about how it went, because it's experience report, and that should encourage others to join these kind of things. So we made some exceptions like that, but mainly it was the rating given by the organization.
These ratings here, each of the team members gave a rating, and we rated all the talks. So it started starting from the top. There were a few exceptions, right?
Yeah, we had only Rails Girls was the exception.
Rails Girls was exception, and I think Emily also we had to remove one of her talks.
Yeah, and we also so Emily's I think we can pull out the blog post that we have written. So we also, apart from the rating, we also decided that we'll not have more than 2 speakers outside from India, and we'll have only 1 speaker from the organizing
team, yes.
Even if it gets higher rating, and we also decided that we'll not have 2 talks from the same person, so that negated many of them on the top, because Emily's almost all talks from Emily got a higher rating, but we negated those because same speaker and outside India. and then we relied on the rating. And
Yeah.
exception was, and apart from those exceptions, we gave the exceptions to Rails Girls
Rails
because
Girls, yeah.
because of the obvious reason, and I think that was a very good talk that we learned quite a few things from them. So.
And Hemant had a very good talk proposal and which rated very high.
So
But
there was
we
a
had
lot
to
of
remove him.
Yeah, there was a lot of debate on. We among us organizers, we had a lot of debates, and that talk went for couple of calls, and then finally we decided we'll have only one talk, and Hemant had to. But
Step
Hemant
aside.
had a very good panel discussion,
discussion,
and then
yeah.
that I think was a huge success. So.
Okay, so I want to thank Lena for doing a phenomenal job with the talk selection and leading everything. Thank you. You can give it to her. I want to thank Emil over here for managing the website and everything related to that. He didn't do all the work, but he got the right people involved at the right time, and he gave us what we wanted. The blog feature in the website, it was amazing. He made it superb. How many of you know about the opportunity scholarship that we gave in this conference? Nice. So, Swanand, what's this opportunity scholarship that we are talking about?
So Opportunity Scholarship is an opportunity for the students and other underrepresented groups to attend the conference. For example, students who are studying in second, third year who really want to be a part of the community, talk to other people, but cannot really afford to travel all the way to Bangalore or even afford the conference tickets. Usually, conference tickets in India are like 2,000-3,000 in that range. For a student, it's a decently steep price. So the idea was also implemented in RubyConf India. I was one of the mentors of one of the students, and I really had fun interacting with him all along, like about the month leading to the conference and on the conference days itself. So Prakash and I had decided that if the budget allows it, we are going to do the Opportunity Scholarship at GCRC 2. And
This is the list.
So this is the list of all the selected students. And
So, where are the scholarship
so
winners?
can all of them please stand up? All the students?
Students. And most of them don't even know Ruby. They are seeing the Ruby for the first time. A couple of them are seeing Ruby for the first time.
Tushar here is coming from all the way from Jaipur.
Yep. Thank you. And, okay. Thanks. Oh yeah, I missed out an important point here, which we did a lot of work in figuring out the way to hold this conference and making all the arrangements, food, logistics, the internet, everything, all this lanyards, T-shirts, all that. Tejas and Dheeraj. Dheeraj is here? Okay, so big hand to Tejas and Dheeraj, please. So this is what happened with our registrations. We made that much money from it, and we had a total of 187 participants register. That included both people who paid for the tickets and who got complimentary admission. Our aim was to make it a 200 people conference, keep it very limited. Not RubyConf India has 400 people. I was there for 2 days, and I didn't meet a couple of people I wanted to meet, even though I was there for 2 days. It was such a big crowd there. Here I wanted it to keep it smaller, 200, so that everybody can meet everybody else. Has that mostly been accomplished? 174. Yeah, 174, okay. And again, of that, I think around 12 or 15 people didn't show up. So it's around 160 people who have been here for the last 2 days. 174? Oh, great. Oh, you already removed the numbers. Great. And one other thing I want to show is before I come here. It's in one of these tabs. Yes. This was maybe a couple of days ago that we went through our finances. We got a total income of around 14,42,000. We started with the idea that we'll have this 15 lakh event, an event with a 15 lakh budget. We met that target, almost very close. We came very close to meeting that target with the sponsors and ticket sales. And expenses, it looks like we are just a little bit below our income, or maybe a little bit over. We'll know in a couple of days. We had a couple of last-minute expenses come through. But yeah, in this context, I want to thank all the sponsors. These folks made it really easy for us to put up an awesome event. And it was also amazing how easy it was for us to get the sponsorship. At one point, there was some doubt that maybe we won't be able to do it. We won't have enough money. We won't be able to do. We may have to cut off a few things. We probably won't have the opportunity scholarship, or maybe not. If not lunch, at least cut something in the lunch or whatever. So all that didn't happen. We could get all the budgeted, the intended amount of money. So thank you Flipkart, thank you Josh, thank you Nilanso, thank you GitHub, thank you Quinix, thank you Paramisoft, thank you Bang the Table, thank you Maven Hive, thank you Good Work Labs, thank you Code Brahma, thank you Codemancers, thank you Multunus, thank you Mahaswami, thank you SupportBee, thank you Icicle, thank you Cognitive Clouds, thank you Big Minery, and thank you Masymbol. Maybe I should have said yes there, right, to update. MobMe and Startup Village in Kerala, they were the t-shirt sponsors. So thank you MobMe and Startup Village. So, wow, I covered all 10 items I had there. So now, my hope from this conference is that it will inspire some of you to go back to your towns and start something similar there. In that context, what questions do you have for me and the team here? So I want all the team members to come up here. So questions. Huh? Okay. Yep.
Wait, I'll come there with the mic.
Yeah.
So what benefit does having a font like this have over the smaller regular meetups and workshops and
Who can answer him?
Yeah, who in the audience can answer him? Yeah, let Gautam handle it. What's the benefit?
So the short answer, more the merrier, right? And the longer answer to that is that in a larger conference, you get to meet a lot of other people, see how they work, see which all companies are interested, see what other people, what experience they have. And that's why conferences, people take time out to come for conferences. Sometimes it happens with meetups that, it's a beyond my job thing. So if I go there, it's okay. If I don't go there, it's fine. But a conference, you attend. Meetups, I'm not sure if they're paid meetups. Do we have
Abhishek,
meetups?
has Chad Fowler ever come to your meetup? Conference. We need conference for that. Okay, next.
I would like to answer his question in one line. It's the difference between Ranji Trophy and one day match. People go to one day matches, people don't go to Ranji matches. So that's the answer I would give.
Okay.
Hello. So, what should be the mindset of a person who is attending a conference, or what should one expect from a conference, or what
From a
should one
conference.
give to a conference, or for that matter, a meetup?
As a participant or as an organizer?
As a participant.
Okay, as a participant, I would say to make more new friends. And to learn new things.
Does anyone else from the team want to answer that question as well? Swanand or Satish?
One important thing you need to consider when you're attending any conference is basically meeting new people. So talks and everything is one part. Obviously, this is important, and probably talks you're going to go back home and watch it again on Confreaks. That's already recorded. So the most important thing is meet new people and make new friends. That is the reason. One of the reasons why we have reduced the talk period from 45 minutes to 30 minutes, and you've increased the lunch time and the coffee breaks, so that people get to talk to each other more. So that's the reason behind that.
Meet new people or keep meeting your friends at conferences.
Yeah.
There are many people who I only meet at Rug meetups or only at the RubyConf India or RubyConf.
And I meet Kobe at every conference I go to. Okay, next question here.
First of all, you guys did an excellent job, getting this conference together. I basically have two questions. First is, how do you raise money from sponsors for a conference like this? I'm sure it's very difficult. And second is, how do you get international speakers like Chad, Kobe?
So I think Swanand wants to answer this one.
You don't raise money for sponsors. You just ask them, hey, we are putting up a conference. And they just say, okay, we are going to sponsor. Here's the money.
A bit more practically, this is something I had a big conversation even with Ajay Gore about at DevOps Days. You have to understand that no matter who is there on this board, every company that sponsors is interested in something, and this kind of ties into what Niranjan was speaking about in the morning. So I'm just going to take my own example, is that we at Nilenzo are hoping to meet interesting people and eventually bring on, hire someone new. And that's why, say, Nilenzo is, that's definitely one of the reasons we are sponsoring a conference like this. So it's just to try to get into the mindset of the person you're speaking to and see what benefits can you provide them. Because the different levels of sponsorships, you also have to, we also have different things that they're allowed to do. For example, a gold sponsor like Flipkart is allowed to bring in that large banner back there and have a booth and allowed to
and they
speak
get 2
to
minutes.
Yeah, and allowed to speak to people. A silver sponsor has their own set of benefits, like giving out something in the pamphlet. So it's about going and speaking to these different organizations, trying to understand what they are looking for, and seeing how your conference can help them, and vice versa.
What they just said just now was exactly what Ajay was saying in the morning about keeping the stakeholders in the loop.
Okay. So the other part of your question was about keynote speakers. I would say it's all about personal relationships. I knew Chad from before, so I reached out to him and he said, yes, I am ready to come. And in fact, and it helped that he was in Bangalore before and he wanted to come back.
Actually, Kobe has a very nice answer to this question. I was talking to him in the afternoon. He said, why do you need it?
Why do you need it?
Why do you always need foreign speakers to come here?
Yeah, so till we have Indian Chad Fowlers, we need the real Chad Fowler.
So there you go. Your goal is set for the next 2 years.
I just wanted to understand, at what stage do you think the local meetups can actually arrange a conference? Because there need to be a certain mileage or momentum that needs to be accumulated by the local meetups to then, result in a conference. You just cannot have a big conference right away, right? So where do you think is the equation or breakdown should happen?
Yeah, so you want to answer that? How
So what do you
Ruby
mean by big conference? I mean, as such.
So how big do you think that the first RubyConf India was? I don't know. Actually, I don't remember myself, but it was somewhere around 300 or 350 people. 250, is it? We were really scared if we were going to get about 40 people in that hall, because it was completely untested waters. Like, I personally, I think I'm a bit romantic about this, but I strongly believe in what Ajay kind of said in the morning. It was really one person's vision. One person wanted to run a Ruby conference, and everyone else was just kind of following along with that vision and doing it. So, in reality, the answer to your question was, well, money aside, it was about 4 to 6 people. That was all that was needed to organize the first one, and people came. I mean, I think Bangalore and definitely India is such a place that you put out something new, some new technology, like we have some obscure like Go language conf next month. Just because it's interesting, people will show up.
This may not be the only way to organize conference. You know, everybody is welcome to figure out their own way. People from Hyderabad can travel together to Chennai, talk about Ruby, and come back the next day. You know, you can do your own plans, really.
So as far as do you have to have meetups to build up a momentum to hold a conference, I actually disagree. Because in Bend, it's a town of about 85,000 people. We had literally 12 Ruby developers in town. And we started Ruby on Rails to put Bend on the map in the Ruby community. So we knew we didn't have a mass of people there. Now, what that did mean is we had to go about it a little bit differently, because we had to do more external marketing. And to Prakash's point, one of the big advantages of large conferences, or actually I wouldn't even call this a large conference, but of conferences in this size, is that you do get to meet more people. And you get to create relationships with people. Honestly, the reason I'm here is because Prakash and I talked several years ago at RubyConf in Louisiana, and that's really how it came about. Chad and I's relationship over the years, I think we've never met anywhere but conferences. I've got a whole group of literally hundreds of friends at this point, that the only time I ever see each other face-to-face is at conferences. Yes, and now I've added another country. So when you're trying to put together an event, part of it is make sure you know what you're trying to accomplish. That's the key part, because if you know what you're trying to do, then you can set your limits. And the other key piece to the budgeting aspect is always remember you don't want to dig yourself a hole. So limit things. With our OpenStack on Rails that I mentioned yesterday, we basically said we know what it costs to rent the place. And if we only have 10 people show up plus our speakers, we're okay. We know what our out-of-pocket expense is going to be. But we're not going to provide coffee. There's water because there's water fountains. But we were able to control those factors. So yeah, you don't need a lot of momentum locally. You do need an interest, or you need to scale your cost model so that if you only have 3 people show up, you're okay with it. But yeah.
So also, one more thing I want to say. I would like everyone to look at the back of the hall near the Flipkart stall. That's Kiran over there. Everyone wave hi, yeah.
Hey, Kiran.
So Kiran, or Jace as he's known, and his partners of about, I think it's a team of 5, have been running, I think, like a dozen successful tech events every single year under the banner of HasGeek. And so if anyone wants to know how to run a conference successfully and on a different range of budgets from like really big to really small, please talk to Jace.
Okay, so we are almost out of time. I want to thank all my co-organizers here. And the one last thing I want to say before closing is, it's not just a few of us up here who did this conference. There were a lot of people who helped us from outside. we may not have time now for everyone, but I want to thank everyone who helped us put this conference up and made it an amazing journey so far. Thank you, everyone.
We will see you at RubyConf India in March.
Yep.